I think, you know, my concern is, so when we originally met back in December, there were several things that Obsidian put forth that they could do for us. You know, move quickly, engage the insurance companies almost immediately, work fast enough that we could perhaps preserve some exchanges. At that time, 45 days hadn't been passed. That was something that Kevin needed put forth. And so there was a reason for us to engage you and get you going quick in the process. And then, so we spent a week or so with you and Ryan here putting together all the information that we could, and hope with our hopes that in fact this thing was going to move forward quickly, and that in fact, because Obsidian is being retained by us in the process, that we'd be getting some communication from it. And in the process, next thing we know, at least from my perception, you guys are doing an end around on us, calling directly and selling yourselves to the creditors committee. We're getting absolutely no feedback. We're seeing absolutely no results that were put forth that you'd be able to bring to the table. And so obviously we start getting concerned. We start getting concerned because we hear things that perhaps in your presentation to the creditors committee you are presenting what we felt was a more complex position and structure as to what we had here. That things like all the Three Sisters development LLCs were you know, great complexity, which really they don't even come into play or minimally into play on this whole thing. So that's when I think all of us started becoming concerned. What have we done here? We put out $100,000 of creditor money essentially, and we're seeing nothing from it, and we're getting no communication from this firm that we retained to help us with that. So if you could kind of respond to what it is you have been doing and why none of the communication has happened to us.
Okay, well that sounds more like an interview. And if you want to know what we've done, we started day one.
We want to know what you've done.
You just answer the question. I don't know what the problem is here. That's a fair question. Just answer it, Kevin. I want to hear it.
Well, that's fine. I'm glad that you want to hear it. It's not a question. It's a question of whether it's appropriate to have Terry here while we're going through these questions. That's the issue.
I don't see if you have anything to hide.
I'm sorry, it's not hiding anything.
Okay.
Yeah,
so can you give us the information that you can give us in front of Terry regarding this question?
And let me just say one other thing. In this engagement letter that you sent to us, you basically said you were working for the company and under the direction of the CRO, who is Terry. So I don't know when that changed or why now that's different and why you're limiting what Terry can hear or not.
Right. As far as I'm concerned, you're still working for Terry, so why wouldn't he be in on this meeting?
Well, again, Terry knows what we're doing. I mean, that's not an issue. He can tell
Terry,
you what
do you
we're
know what they're doing?
Not everything, absolutely not.
We are all actually not quite sure what you are doing.
Because there's been no communication. So we're just asking what happened here.
Well, okay, we'll start. We'll answer a few of the questions, and then if we're going to move on, then
we would like to move on, but we would like an answer.
I understand. If you're gonna, if we're gonna do
we'll
this,
we'll go.
then I'm okay, because we started the very first night with exactly what needed to be done in this case. We started moving the next day as to what needed to be done. We had a communication where we were told we were moving too fast on Sunday, that very first weekend. Okay? Just so you know what was going on. Okay.
That communication was
from counsel and from Terry. And we said there are issues with bonds, issues with insurance policies. Can we figure out how to mitigate? Our two jobs were figure out how to maximize the value of the assets. And look, if this is going to be a deposition, we're going to stop. So if you wanna take notes here of everything that I'm saying, we're gonna stop.
Why?
Because if you want your attorneys to depose me, then set up a.
You can take notes of everything I say. I just wanna know what's going on, because, you know, frankly, you know, you've had this thing. You came in just exactly as Tim put it, and basically you sold the job, and as soon as you sold the job, that communication stopped. And it's just very interesting here how scared you are just to talk about this and say, this is what's going on. Just put everything on the table and let's get a working relationship and an understanding going, Kevin. This reaction you've got here isn't you know, gonna take anything anywhere to get in a trusting relationship where we go, wow, we feel good about what these guys are gonna do. I mean, you haven't told me what you do to bring value to this. I have no idea. Apparently, you know, other than listing the stuff with realtors, you know, you've got, let's say you got a 6% commission with realtors. You know, whatever the proceeds were, let's just throw out a number, $10 million. Just by getting this job alone and doing nothing but listing the stuff with realtors, you got $900,000 on the table for your company, okay? So that doesn't motivate you to do anything other than just land the job. It's kind of like a realtor, you know, they're going to get a commission if they just land the listing and do, you know, and don't have to do much else. So these are fair questions, and I don't understand why you are so, you seem to be hesitant to answer any questions and just have an open discussion about this.
I'm happy to have an open discussion, but if you're gonna take down verbatim what
We can't take them
I'm saying.
verbatim, we're
I
not
can
even that
take,
quick. We just wanna remember the
you thought
notes.
that you were gonna come over here and have a meeting and we couldn't take any notes?
no,
Is that?
as I'm speaking, you're typing.
That's right, because
we
I'm
wanna
taking
know-
notes about what you're saying, Kevin, and I see you having a fear about being held to what you say. If
No,
you
I
did-
don't, what I don't want to have is have this thing blow up and then have a situation where you're sitting there taking notes and then it's, and Kevin said this and this. That doesn't promote an open discussion. If you wanna have a deposition, that's fine, we'll have a deposition. But if you wanna have an open discussion, then let's have an open discussion.
How about you write notes of everything we say, and we'll write notes of what you say, and that's how we'll get a working relationship. Just be fair for both.
You guys,
Wait a
you know
second.
what, we're just gonna pass on the notes, okay?
I think, look, at the end of the day, from the get-go, from our first interview with you, our desire is to bring as much value as possible, as quickly as possible to creditors. We have no other agenda to that. I don't think we're in. So, that is.
But that's our agenda.
Okay.
It's exactly our agenda.
Which
So
is-
then we should be able to discuss open. We may not agree on everything that's discussed here at this table, and there may be some tension that arises over that. I will say that we come to this meeting with a bit of a defensive stance because we feel like you've done a hand around on us. And rightly or wrongly, lack of communication has put us in that position. So let's get that communication out. Let's talk about why Obsidian would be the best solution to this, and so that we can evaluate that and determine whether in fact that is the best solution, and we can then go back to the judge and give him our feelings on the whole thing. I mean, we really, I don't know how to emphasize this, and we just want it to move as quickly as possible with the greatest value as possible to our creditors. That is all that we want. And if it's Obsidian, that's great. But as you said, there has to be this trust. And whether you're talking about marriage or kids or whatever, if there's not